I never expected that at 72 years old with my knees reminding me of every mile I ever walked they end up in a courtroom arguing about a gravel road they driven on for almost 4 decades. But life has a peculiar way of testing you just when you think you've finally on some peace and quiet. My name is Harold Bennett, retired electrician, widower, and the longtime resident of a little 3-acre property tucked behind a line of old pines. The property has one entrance, a private road my father built with his own hands in the early 1970s. That road has seen my first car, my first heartbreak, my children wobbling on their bikes, and my grandkids chasing fireflies. It wasn't just a road, it was a memory lane quite literally. A few years ago, the land adjacent to mine was purchased by a young developer who decided to establish a homeowners association and have for the new houses we planned to build. At first, he didn't mind. He figured folks have the right to run their neighborhoods however they want. I'd wave from my porch, they'd wave from theirs, and that would be that. But things changed the moment the HOA realized something. The easiest way for the residents to reach the main highway was my private road. One crisp morning, just after I'd finished feeding the birds, he found a letter taped to my gate. It stated, in proper legal language and printed on fancy paper, that the HOA was demanding permanent access rights to my private road for all the residents. They claimed it was in the community's best interest. They also slipped in a line suggesting that if he didn't voluntarily agree, they'd pursue legal remedies. Now, at my age, I'd much rather enjoy my mornings with a cup of coffee than read threats from people who had never even said hello. But he wasn't about to be bullied. He called their HOA president a sharp-voiced young man named Connor who seemed to believe every inch of the world needed to bend to his convenience. He spoke to me like he was an obstacle, not a neighbor. Mr. Bennett, he said, your road is the most logical access point for our residents. You should see this as doing your part for community growth. My part, he replied, is minding my land and respecting other people's property. I expect the same in return. He wasn't pleased. A week later, he was served official papers. They were suing me. Now, it may be over, but I'm not helpless. And the one thing my father taught me along with how to fix a fuse box and how to grill a perfect steak was that you never give away land your family worked for unless you choose to. So he hired an attorney. She was younger than my daughter but sharp as a saw blade. Her name was Alicia, and she had a talent for explaining law in plain English, something he appreciated more than she knew. She told me, Mr. Bennett, your deed clearly states that the road is private. You've maintained it, paid for it, repaired it, and these are no more easements allowing anyone else to use it. They don't have a case but will fight it anyway. When the court date arrived, he wore my good jacket, the same one he wore for my granddaughter's graduation. The courtroom was cold, the kind of cold that makes you wish you'd brought a blanket. Across from me sat the HOA board, stiff and confident, whispering to one another like they already knew they'd won. Their lawyer spoke first. He painted the HOA as a growing, vibrant community hindered by one uncooperative elderly landowner who refused to be reasonable. He made it sound like he was hoarding a treasure instead of protecting a road. Then Alicia stood up. Calm, straight-spined, professional. She held up copies of old maps, my deed, tax records, and the maintenance receipts I'd kept in a showbox for years. She explained to the judge that not the county, not the HOA, not anyone else had maintained that road for half a century. She emphasized that no more legal agreement granting access had ever existed. Then she said something I'll never forget. Your Honor, this road is not just property. It is part of my client's family legacy. You cannot demand someone hand over their history for another person's convenience. The courtroom went quiet. The judge, a gentleman with tired eyes and a silver mustache, took his time. He flipped through the documents, tapped his pen, and he finally spoke. In the matter of the HOA versus Mr. Bennett, he said, the court finds no more legal basis for the HOA's claim. The road is private. It will remain private. Case dismissed. The HOA gasped. He exhaled for the first time in what felt like months. When he left the courthouse, the sunlight felt warmer than usual. Alicia shook my hand. You stood your ground, she said. Your father would be proud. He believed he would have been. Today, when he'd drive down that gravel path, hearing the familiar crunch under my tires, I'm reminded that some things in life are still worth defending your peace, your memories, and the talent that holds them. And to anyone listening who has ever felt pushed around by people who think they know better, stand firm. Even at 72, you can win a fight you didn't start but are strong enough to finish.